No news at all, is there? Right, are we ready
for
the popcorn pundits?
Have
we started already?
Yes.
Wow.
We've started.
Wow, I didn't realise that. Okay.
So, do you want to do a preamble?
Well, this is it.
Well, no,
no, he's done the pars. So that's it now. You couldn't
We're in.
preamble.
We've got our feet firmly underneath the table.
In quick.
Yes, sorry, I kind of thought we might have quite a lot to talk about
Let's
tonight,
crack
so I
on
just
then.
cracked on.
Let's crack on. It's your Popcorn Pundit. It's your weekly review show via podcast or by YouTube. It's your choice. You can listen to us or watch us.
I'd watch us.
You could do both.
Yeah.
You can come and touch us if you want at the cinema.
No, you can't do that. That's not how
I
this
love how
works.
he says us.
Yeah. It's Nikki, Peter and myself on our weekly review show. We like to go to the cinema as often as possible and then encourage you to go to the cinema and watch films that we adore, sometimes not so much.
Oh, don't give nothing away.
Don't give nothing away.
Don't give nothing away.
Double negative. I like you when you did that. You just twisted it. You saucy monkey, you.
There we go.
Peter likes to do the top 10 at the Cinema UK charts, and Nikki does a fantastic Nikki sequel looking back at last year's podcast. Because we've been doing this how many weeks now? 76 weeks.
Oh, you're doing that thing my dad does where you ask a question and answer it yourself.
That's what I'm doing.
But he answered it wrong.
Yes, 75 weeks.
75 weeks.
Exactly.
And also, the whole point of Nikki's thing is she goes back to what we were doing this week last year. Not just last year.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I feel scorned and told off now.
No, I'm just scorned now.
I was just letting you know in case you didn't have a clue what she
You
was
have no
doing.
idea.
He never has a clue.
Beautiful. There we go.
So there you go. So we're going to start off with the top 10.
Oh, that's me.
That's right. That's your responsibility. Peter McPete.
I was going to actually quickly mention in at number 12 is The Woman in the Yard, which we will be... Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Yeah.
Which we will be reviewing.
Haven't even started my top 12 and it's been interrupted already. There we go.
It's a good start.
I'm
Horror.
producer, I'm allowed.
Excellent. You might need to help me with number 11 as well, or are we not?
It's the same as number 2.
Say what? How the hell does that work?
Because one is the Irish version and one is the normal from the looks of it.
Well, shut the front door. Never seen such a thing.
What?
That's
The
craziness.
production, one is RFT Ireland
Oh, yes.
and one is RFT Limited.
Okay, so are we going to do a little bit of an explanation about what this is at 11 or 2?
You decide, it's your top 10.
I'm going to do it at number 2. Number 10, Doctor Strangelove. Dash. I've forgotten what punctuation is. National Theatre Live 2025. I obsess about punctuation.
You do, and then you made a right balls of it.
I forgot what it was called.
Very red, I swear.
What is
I'm
it
just a bit
called?
naughty now.
It's not very.
That's a dash, isn't it?
Just
Is
a
that a
dash,
dash?
isn't it?
Just a dash.
Okay.
Let's not overcomplicate things.
It's not a movie.
It's not a movie, it doesn't really matter. Mind you, it is starring who?
Yeah, what's his
Steve
face?
Coogan.
Steve Coogan in lots
Aha!
of different roles.
Yeah.
I think it looks fucking brilliant.
It does, yeah.
Who has a film coming out next week?
Steve Coogan.
Is
Does
it-
he now?
Isn't he doing that Mr. Penguin one?
Don't
The
know.
one with the penguin teacher?
Oh, that looks so cute.
It looks so cute.
I've
It looks
not-
so
I've
cute.
not- I'm com-
Yes, we've seen a trailer.
Did we?
Yeah, we did. It's a man. You'd remember because it's a man who walks around with a pet penguin.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Oh, yeah, how did
Yeah.
you forget that?
Yeah, well, you know.
Weird. Number 9, Flow.
I've booked tickets to go and see this. I can't remember what day it is. I think it's the 14th of April.
Okay, brilliant.
There you go. I think it's an animated cat thing.
Is it?
Am I right, Nikki?
It is. It's an Oscar-winning one, and because of it, the adoption of black cats has gone up.
Oh, not a lady time in a month thing.
Gingers can do one.
Number 8, Billy Elliot, the musical live. Do you want to say anything? No, let's move on. Number 7, Mickey 17. I kind of like this. It's almost bookended by the number 7, but not quite.
You just need to get one out, don't we?
Very good
Wait till he
film.
gets to
Very
number
good
2.
film.
Very good film.
We gave it 8.8.
To me, it's one of these films that you can watch quite a few times because there's so much going on with it, and the humour is just so slapstick.
Just because you enjoy it.
I think so.
I think the film was brilliant enough to watch it many times.
I think you're right.
Have you seen it twice?
Not yet, no.
Yeah, I think I might like to go back again.
I see
Number
that.
6, Black Bag, the movie that James will not go and see, no matter what's on at the cinema. He will not go and see this film so we can talk about
Isn't
it.
it weird? Everybody I know has been to see this film apart from me.
What's wrong with you? It's not like you're a popcorn pundit, is it?
Exactly.
I really want to see your opinion.
I
of
know,
this
so do
film.
I. Sort myself out. Chop
Sort
chop.
yourself out.
Novocaine.
You went to see Novocaine instead of Black Bag.
I did.
Which you reviewed last week.
Which was okay. It did the job. It ticked a few boxes. I was hoping it was going to be more like Bullet Train, but it wasn't.
Okay, so our podcast last week was less than 35 minutes long, and you reviewed this film. That shows you how poor this movie is, that you couldn't talk for more than 40 minutes about this movie.
Which is very unusual for me.
Shock, frickin' horror. Number 4, well done, Bridget Jones.
Good, yeah.
Mad About the Boy. Still up there in the top 5.
There's obviously lots and lots of people going to see this at the cinema.
Lots and lots of times.
Yeah.
Everyone keeps telling me how
Crying,
funny it is.
laughing.
Which is great, because that means I don't have to go and see it.
Being nostalgic.
Which is brilliant.
And it's not done too badly in the box office.
No, it's been smashing it with all those middle-aged ladies.
Thanks.
Right.
And their dates.
Thanks.
Number 3 is the film that we went... And Nikki. And number 3 is the film that we went to see this week, which is a Jason Statham movie called A Working Man.
Working Man.
Should we just score it now?
Why are you talking
No.
like Danny Dyer?
Because he's Edward.
Number 2.
Yes, L2.
Is L2 : Emperor. Nikki, could you tell us all about this, please?
It's your favourite thing because there's a 2 at 2.
There is a 2 at 2.
How happy he gets. So, a man leads a double life as the enigmatic leader of a powerful global crime syndicate.
Right.
It is I believe, Indian film, and it is directed and produced by a company called RFT Films.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
Didn't you say it was Irish earlier on?
no, but I said if you look at the top 10 and top 11, they've obviously got RTF Films Limited is at number 2 and RTF Ireland. So I wonder if they have like an Irish version of it.
Well, we'll have to do some investigating. Next week,
Well, so
we'll have
this-
the producers to come back with some more
That's a
answers.
really, really weird thing, because this is the top 10 according to the UK and Ireland. And that's the first time that we've had the same film split on the list with different distribution companies.
So I do know that there has been a film released recently that it is...
Was it Kneecap that we reviewed like 8
No,
weeks
it's
ago?
only in Gaelic. This film's only... There's a film out... There's been a film that's been released that's only in Gaelic. It's filmed in Ireland. So I don't know whether that's related to it or not. No idea. Let's find out next week.
And number 1,
Yes.
Disney's Snow White.
Right. I know. I think we only know one person who's seen this so far.
Oh no, loads of people have seen it. 2 people.
2 people, obviously.
Yeah.
That's weeks on release.
Yeah.
Do you know anybody seen it?
I do not.
Nikki?
Thomas Brown has.
Thomas Brown went to see it. He said this is a review. We've asked him to re-record it.
Re-record it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it so long?
We won't go into details. Tom, if you're listening, re-record your review, send it in to us, and we will post it on our podcast.
Oh, I want to know what happened now.
You can't tell.
I'll play it to you later.
Yeah.
Oh no, you won't.
Oh, yes, you will. So that's your top 10.
That.
It's got one job.
This is the top
Picture
10 in
of it.
UK and Ireland up until, I can't remember what the date was on Monday. Thank you very much.
31st
There
of
we go.
March.
Beautiful.
There you go.
That's quite-
There you go.
Okay, should we do the what would you go and see?
Yes, why not?
We obviously can't talk about A Working Man. You'll get a good idea whether you should go and see that after we've done our review.
Mm-hmm.
But Bridget Jones is definitely worth a view, allegedly.
I agree.
I don't think you're promoting Novocaine as much as I'd kind of expect you to.
No,
Bit disappointing.
Yeah.
I think Black Bag is worth a watch.
I've been told by many people, everybody that I know says, James, you should go and watch it.
Yeah, it's very elegant, but I think the standout, without a doubt, is number 7, Mickey 17.
It's got to be. It's got to be. It's an absolutely brilliant film.
Really, really great film.
Robert Pattinson is really, really transforming into a fantastic actor, I think. He's got a very wide range, I think.
100%.
That Batman, Tenant, he's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
He's doing all right.
Yeah.
There you go.
He's getting betterer and betterer. Okay.
Jingle bells, Batman spells.
Oh no, because we're going to talk about
Robin
what films you've seen. Why are you doing that? What's that about?
No idea.
Oh, because
It was
it's
a noise.
Okay, so Batman,
Yeah.
and then that took you on to
Oh, yeah. There's a tenuous link.
Jingle Bells,
There's
Batman
always a tenuous
spells.
link somewhere.
Robin laid an egg.
Good Lord. Okay. Can we talk about some movies, please?
Yes, we can. Nikki, what would you like first? Do you want Working Man or do you want Woman in the Yard?
Which one's Peter doing on his own?
Peter and I are going to share Working Man, but he's going to lead the way.
So you're both doing both.
Oh no, I haven't seen A Woman in the Yard.
Nope.
Okay, should we start with the woman in
I
the
was
yard?
going to see that, and then James suggested that I came to see a working man instead.
And you took me up on that one. So, Woman in the Yard. It's a 15 movie. The best. I'm going to give you the story plot to start off with. So the film starts. It's an American movie. Very very low cast movie. There's
Can I just
literally
interrupt you really quickly,
Please.
and say that this film's only showing at 9:15 at night.
it's incredibly frustrating.
It's really frustrating, and they do this quite a lot with horror.
They do.
And they need to understand
They
that I
assume-
need to see these films
And you still get to bed at a certain
and,
time.
and still get to bed at a certain time.
I agree. It's not all made for young kids staying up all night, is it?
Can you have a chat?
I will do.
Please.
Exactly.
I can't be doing these.
People are men of a certain age who's being tucked up in bed before
Absolutely.
11 o'clock at night.
Absolutely.
So you're right. This was screening literally at 9 o'clock. One screening every day at 9 o'clock.
9:15.
9:15.
Means starts at 9:45.
the whole week. However,
Sorry, I'll shut up now.
the trailer for this movie depicts a female figure in the backyard, hence Woman in the Yard, in America, all dressed in black lace, sitting on a chair and freaking people out by wondering what she's doing there.
Lady Gaga.
That's pretty much what the movie does, to be quite honest with you, from start to finish. That's pretty much the premise of this film. Very very small amount of cast. You've literally got a mother and two children in this, and then you've got ever so often you have back flashes of the husband as well. So the film is set up from the very very beginning, and it's immediately apparent this film is all to do with grief and all to do with missing somebody who's died, which is obviously the definition of grief.
Is this an A24 or a Bauhaus? Or
It's a Bauhaus. This is a Bauhaus movie. Bauhaus have been sort of, until recently, Bauhaus was my go-to when it came to any sort of horror movies. And was over the last 2-3 years, A24 has kind of taken up the mantra of the horror movie genre, and Bauhaus has sort of dipped in and out with Sinister and films such as
Well,
that.
they've done a few, but it's just that the volume that A24 have churned has been quite prolific, hasn't it, over the last couple of years?
And Bauhaus do have a very stylized way of how they produce movies, or they choose the movies that they're producing.
It's cleaner, isn't it? A24 definitely has a real grain and grittiness that's
100%.
generally either in
Gritty.
either in the cinematography or in the plot lines.
Very much so. Whereas the Bauhaus is a lot more commercial, it's a bit slicker, and even the story plots and everything else are a lot more easily to digest. Sometimes A24 is not easy to digest at all, and I think that's what makes it more interesting sometimes. However, we digress. So this is a classic Bauhaus movie. You've got three characters, as I mentioned before, and it starts off with... And initially I was a little bit surprised because the trailer to me looked like it was a retro movie. It looked like it was set in the past. It looked like it was like deep south in America with the bright sunshine and the yard being slightly dusty, a little bit of greenery around, that sort of thing. And I immediately thought of times of past. But no, this film is set in present day. But because you never really leave the house or even the yard, it could have really been set at any time. Really, there's a car in it, but we won't go into too many details about the car. So the general setup of this film is a very tense film. The pace of it does tend to run and then stop and then run and then creep and then run and then stop again continuously. It's on and on. The gas keeps pinning on and off the tension as the film progresses. The main character is the mother of the two children, and it's obvious from the very very beginning this mother's been in a horrific car accident. She's got a brace on her leg, and she's got scars all over her bodies, and all over her body, should I say? And she's continuously looking at this video of her husband, who's now passed away, unfortunately. And I think they were talking about. It's basically from the lovely moment of interaction, and she's regurgitating this over and over again in a very melancholy way, in a very sort of sad sort of way, and she's sort of alienating even her two children away from her because she's so grief-stricken, right? So that's the setup of the film. The two children trying to get on with their lives. You've got an older boy and a younger girl. The older boy is a little bit more tense. He's a little bit more sort of unhappy about the situation that he's living, because he's a young lad. Okay, he's very sad that his father's died, but he's still a young man, and he wants to carry on with his life. One morning, they look out the back window and they realise there is this figure in the backyard, and they literally say that, hey, there's a woman in the yard, and that's where the whole film just starts. Now, without giving too many of the subplots away, because I don't want to give any spoilers away, what you have here is you've got a quite faithful reproduction of The Shining.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But done in a completely different set. Okay. So what you have here is you have grief, you have mental issues, you have that sense of entrapment in a certain space. You also have the fear of somebody that you love could hurt you in some way as well.
So when you started describing it,
yes,
the film that popped into my head was that one with the house in the woods with the ropes.
Not at all. To a certain extent, it does have. It tips off sides of that, but the go-to film, if you had any reference at all, there's two films that splices right in the middle. One is obviously The Shining, and the second thing is Babadook.
Oh right,
Okay.
Okay.
So imagine a Babadook in the sunshine with a woman in the backyard as the baddie. Okay. So that's pretty much a setup of this film.
Okay.
You're never quite sure if it's supernatural or not. Even right to near the very, very end, you're never quite sure exactly how supernatural this whole scenario is. The acting is fairly decent. It works really well. The young lad is very, very good. There's some beautiful moments in it where the young girl is scribing on a piece of paper, and she gets the R the wrong way around when she's writing. Mm-hmm. You see. And
like The Shining.
Exactly, and it's literally as red, and it took a lot of effort.
Got that. Yeah, it's almost like I'm a film.
Red ram. It took a lot. It took a lot of effort for me not to stand up and go, "Shining! This is Shining!" And at exactly the same point, the older boy, has got a baseball, and he's hitting it off the wall continuously, and mirrors beautifully what Jack Nicholson's character was doing in The Shining as well. You've obviously got what you have here is you've got the two children. At some point, they feel trapped in the house by the mother, and other times the mother feels trapped by the woman in the yard. There's issues with the car leaving the house as well. So don't
mention the car.
No, so the whole film itself is incredibly tense. It's not particularly a long film. It's but the downside of this film, unfortunately, this film promises a lot. It does so many beautiful little Easter eggs all the way through with different homages to Babadook and through The Shining and through all the different beautiful little horror movies as well. But it's not, unfortunately, it's not a patch on these horror movies, unfortunately. So it kind of reminds you how bad it is compared to those movies.
Okay, because the way you were talking, I thought you were getting it to be better and better and better.
I'm laughing because that silence is great for a podcast.
I even breathed loudly then as well.
Yeah.
Sophie and I left the cinema wanting to enjoy the film a lot more, and we do a little bit of research about the film, and the film is a lot more layered than it projects it really is, even after reading about the characters afterwards. It's not as good as it should be. Blumhouse has obviously missed the mark on hitting certain marks within this film. It could have been so much more terrifying. It could have been so much more tense. As I mentioned before, some great performances, some great references. The timing's great. The idea of actually having a horror movie outside in the sunshine works really, really well for me. But unfortunately, the last quarter of this movie does tend to tail off, and you get kind of bored near the end, and you're not really that enthused with the ending, unfortunately.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So should we?
You want to score?
I want to score.
You want to score?
I'm getting intrigued.
Nikki, have you got any facts for me before we go to score?
I've got two facts. One of them is, so this is it's an hour and 28 minutes long.
Yes.
And the director has done some previous horror projects, and they include House of Wax, which is 2005, The Shallows, which is 2016, and the 2009 film Orphan.
Yes.
And then, I don't know if this is a spoiler or not, so I apologise. During filming, snakes were only present on set on Tuesday and Thursday as part of a unique agreement between the producers and the local snake community.
Ooh, the local snake. They had a meeting with all the snakes.
Yeah,
and he went,
one of them
Tuesdays
had a
and
clipboard.
Thursdays, all yours, mate.
Wow.
Wednesdays and Fridays, don't come anywhere near us.
Blimey.
We're having lunch.
And they get a long weekend because they get Monday off.
Exactly. Union, you see. Union of the snake.
Well, there we go. Who knew? Come on in.
They
Put
did.
a number on this bad boy.
5.9. 5.9. Do you know what? I don't think it'd be a film I'll watch again, unfortunately.
Would you improve it in any way? Apart from Samuel L. Jackson?
No, it literally could. If they ramped up the tension, and then if they ramped, because the story plot itself it works really, really well. The actual story works really well. They acted it really well, but it just didn't. It wasn't tense enough, and it wasn't horrific enough.
To me, this last year feels like this huge churn of horror.
Yes,
They should have done less better.
I agree.
I think we've seen a few absolute crackers through this last
We
year.
have.
But there has been an absolute lot of tripe, hasn't there?
I think it's because the horror genre has actually become so popular now, and they thought to themselves, actually, it's a really cheap way.
It's a cheap production, isn't it?
100%, and they still make money from it because people are going to the cinema to go and watch it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's what you've got there. So you're right. Hopefully, it's not a downfall of horror in the long term.
Well, the monkey was cracking.
It was amazing. So there you have it. So that's my review of The Woman in the Yard. 5.9. It was all right.
Well, 5.9 is not all right. That's a never going to see it again. And for you, that's a
I know.
Yeah.
a damning
Yes.
verdict.
I think you're right. However, let's move on to greener pastures.
Okay, do you have any?
All over to you, Peter.
Okay. So this week,
Yes.
I was going to see A Woman in the Yard.
Yes.
And James went, oh, no, don't go and see that. It's on very, very late. You need your beauty sleep and all that malarkey. I'm going to go and see a film with Jason Statham in it called A Working Man,
Yay!
which is a 15.
Yes.
And the most horrifying stat about this film
Yes.
is it's 1 hour and 56 minutes long.
It must be one of his longest movies ever.
I reckon by 40 minutes.
I mean, it'd be interesting to see how long Beekeeper is, and all the Transporter movies are.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe I'm just talking from a point of ignorance. And
But I think we're singing off the same hymn sheet. I think he shouldn't do a movie over an hour and a half.
yeah.
Beekeeper's an hour and 45.
There you go.
Okay.
10 minutes off that.
Wowzers. Okay, so we are in the world of Levon Cade, and we meet him. He's
Brushing his teeth.
buttoning up his what do they call these?
Shacket.
Yes, a shacket, isn't
That's
it?
right.
And putting on his hard hat.
That's right.
And you're instantly thinking, my God, how many professions can this man do pretending that he was never in Black Ops when he was like younger? But anyway, so we go
He's
along.
a man with a past.
We go along with this facade for a little
Yes.
while, and he is basically the foreman on a building site.
He is.
And it's a Mexican family-owned construction company, and
They love him.
they love
Everybody
him.
loves him.
Everyone brings him food.
I
And
know.
Did you know that's a Mexican stereotype that if they like you, they bring you food.
It worked for him.
Oh, well, they brought him so much food.
They did.
They brought him grandma's tacos and
However-
guacamole.
And he kept mentioning, "Oh, you keep bringing me food." I never saw him eat once in that movie.
Well, he's not Brad Pitt.
I love Brad Pitt eating.
Yeah.
Eating every single scene.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
Jason Statham does not.
No.
Anyway, so we are in a construction site and
Yeah.
they're building this building in New York.
No idea what they're building.
It's a building.
It's a building.
In New York.
Exactly.
What could possibly go wrong?
There's nothing to see here.
Anyway, one of the guys that brought him food then gets beaten up by a bunch of people that aren't Mexicans.
No, and they come in from the outside
They
in.
do, and it's
Yes.
scary because they've got guns and stuff.
However-
and Jason Statham has like a hammer or a pickaxe or something,
Does.
and he uses it and he beats up the people that aren't Mexicans.
Now, my favourite bit initially he picks up a bucket
Yes.
and he checks to see are there nails in said bucket.
Yes.
And I thought, he's going to do something really inventful with that. But no, what does he do? He throws the bucket of nails at somebody, which does nothing to the chap at all, and then hits a guy with the bucket.
I think you'll find
Yes.
the bloke who has the nails hitting him in the face
Yes.
goes, ow!
Yeah,
I
no,
think
that's
he
right.
did that.
yeah, but not much.
No, that was it. That's all he did.
It's not like being hit in the face with
Anyway, so Jason
bicycle
Statham
clip.
knocks these non-Mexicans out of the building site and says, "Naughty, naughty, get out of here. He is my friend. This man brings me food."
And they go, "Oh, thanks,
Is that
Jace."
how he sounds?
Well, God knows how he sounds because his accent is more fluid than James's underpants. It's anyway. So
He's got an Anglo-American accent, hasn't he?
anyway, so we know there are things afoot around this building
We
site.
do.
We're not quite sure what it is, but the wholesome, lovely Mexican family.
Yes,
The daughter decides to go out and celebrate the end of her first semester at university.
she does.
And she
With fake
with
IDs.
fake IDs for all of her friends.
Yes.
And they go out all looking like
On the
Hillary
strip.
Clinton.
They do.
It's like the worst outfits I've ever seen.
It's
on
like
a
young
group of
girls trying
women
to look
ever.
like women.
They had like one of them had like a set of pearls on.
I know.
You
I'm
go
just
out
like-
just as grannies.
I don't know what they were doing. It wasn't explained, and it didn't make any sense to me.
I
But
think they were trying to look older than they really were,
Oh,
and
it's
that's how they were trying.
embarrassing.
Yeah.
pathetic. Anyway, surprise, surprise!
Yes.
The lovely Mexican family's daughter gets kidnapped.
No.
Honestly, it was the biggest
she get-
shock to me.
Did she
in
get taken?
75 weeks.
Taken.
In
it's,
75
what's his face in
weeks
it?
of
Yes.
watching movies, that was the biggest shock
It was to me.
I've
I
ever
thought, wow.
experienced ever.
What a plot twist.
And then, I mean, this happened in like the 11th minute, didn't it?
Within and it
At
didn't take
this
long.
point, I'm thinking, fucking hell, this film is like 2 hours long. What on earth?
They've already peaked.
What on earth can possibly carry on like for the next 1 hour and 45 minutes?
Jason Statham goes, "Hold my drink. I'm going to show you."
Oh my days! It was like the slowest, darkest, camera shoddiest, worst choreographed.
I agree.
Jason Statham, mate, hang up
Yeah.
your hard hat, hang up your boots, go home to Huntington Whiteley, and just put your feet up and then relax, mate, because you're too old for this nonsense.
No, I disagree. I think he can still do what he's doing. I think
Do
he's.
you?
Yeah, I do. I think he just had a different choreographer. I
Oh,
really do believe
it
that.
was awful.
Because okay, so what you have here is traditionally, and then for those of you listening, traditionally, a Jason Statham movie, and I'm sorry to interrupt, but I need to get this across
Please
now.
interrupt.
However-
I don't want to talk about this
So,
movie anymore.
Traditionally, a Jason Statham movie is usually an hour and a half. You usually get him doing his Anglo-American accent, which you find to forgive him for that, because it's the same with every single movie he does now. However, he always gets his top off.
Yeah, and he's
Okay.
a martial arts expert in real life.
And does lots of kicky things.
Yeah,
In a very inventful way, and the choreography is usually a little bit sort of poetic in its sort of, and also quite inventful in its killing.
he stabbed people around a corner. That's all he did, the whole film.
That's the biggest thing disappointing about this movie. A, the length of it, and B, the fact that the killing are not inventful at all. There's
There's
nothing.
nothing. There's one attempt at a comedic beating up when the guy's getting his head scraped along the tiles
Yes.
and his teeth popping out and stuff.
And that's
like that.
about it.
But that is
That's about it.
absolutely it.
I think this film takes itself far too seriously.
But do you? But are we actually taking the Russians seriously?
They are.
They got every, hammy English actor to play Russians badly.
I know.
It was
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
and we've just seen Anora.
Yes.
Okay, and we've seen how to depict Russians beautifully.
Exactly.
Yeah, and with class and elegance
Yes.
and without racism and
Without stereotypes. and-
yeah, it was
Yeah.
really yeah.
I mean, there is a moment where they almost try to replicate the gentleman when in costume characters, and then at that point you think to yourself, hang on a minute, you've tried to take yourself so seriously all the way through this point, and these two lads come out of the car and you go, that's taking the Mickey out of the gentleman. And that was a funny film. Why are you trying to recreate that funny
100%.
spot?
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and
they
then
even they almost reference it when they're talking about their outfits,
They do.
don't they? And it's just kind of like, oh, come
And then
on,
what happens
be
is,
better.
as soon as that happens, it's almost as if a different director took over. Because as soon as that happened, every single baddie was a John Wick baddie. It went from fairly sort of believable baddies to a certain extent with really bad accents, to all of a sudden they became cartoon characters in a John Wick way.
But I've seen every combat before.
Yes.
The chair by the swimming pool.
That's
the
right.
rope. I mean, all these things. I mean, there was nothing
eventful.
nothing unique about this film whatsoever. So if you're going to put people through that,
Yes.
why make it 2 hours?
Well, one of the issues we have here is this is not a Jason. It's not a Jason Statham movie. This is a Sylvester Stallone movie.
That is absolutely correct. And so we saw this last night,
Yes.
and I must admit, I struggled to get home because I was so exhausted from watching this.
Yes.
And when the trailers went up at the beginning and it was talking about Sylvester Stallone, it is... Rambo's a beautiful thing.
It is.
It is a beautiful thing.
It is.
But the dialogue is
Well, it's Expendables. It's turned into Expendables.
It is a very, very...
Rocky
Stallone.
and...
You're absolutely right.
Yeah, to me, Rocky and Rambo, that franchise, the first 2 or 3 of each one of those, are groundbreaking, particularly the very first ones are groundbreaking. And yes, he needs kudos in reference to being a writer or director and all the different bits and bobs like that. But when he makes a movie just to make money, he makes a movie just to make money, and this is one of them.
It's horrific.
It's like the Expendables. The Expendables are literally just there
horrific.
to get as many,
But at least the Expendables had a cast.
Yes.
At least had something to kind
And it
of
was funny.
tangibly grab onto.
Yeah, and there was elements of humour in it as well.
Okay, so this is the first film that I nearly left 3 times.
I know.
And I don't like to leave the cinema when I go with you because I really enjoy your company and it's a really lovely experience. But I was trying to work out how to say to you, I can't do this.
Well, it's funny because you shuffled a few times at the cinema.
I fell asleep twice.
And then there was 3 times. There was 3 times I thought, I must go to the boys' room, and I thought to myself, if I go to the boys' room, I might not come back.
Yeah, it was.
Which is very unusual for me.
You have left in the cinema.
Yes.
Since we've been doing this, I think you.
No.
Did you not?
Never left cinema.
No. Okay, I thought there was one film where you didn't come back.
No.
So I nearly left 3 times. I was really angry that I gave up an evening to watch this absolute shower
That's a
of
chance
shit.
to take sometimes. It could have been brilliant.
But do you
It
know what?
could
On the
have been
way
brilliant.
there, I was kind of dreading it, and I was kind of thinking this is going to be shit. And then I thought, do you know what? The number of times I've done this and I've turned up, and actually it's been a really pleasant surprise.
Exactly.
And then I got an hour in, I went, I want to leave. I don't
Yeah.
want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
And it was.
It's kissing frogs, isn't it?
Well, this is the ugliest, pimpliest, wartiest, stinking toad we've experienced in 75 weeks.
Didn't turn into a prince at all, did it?
No.
No.
They never do.
Try harder, Jason. Just put some more effort into it. That's what I'm going to say.
Or just don't turn up
No,
for that.
I believe in him, and I think he's got the future. I still think he's got the
You
future.
saw the Beekeeper, didn't you?
Yeah.
Was it good?
I didn't mind it. It's not as good as Transporter, but I didn't mind it.
Transporter is cracking.
It is.
You've got
That
to
first
give them
opening scene when he's kicking with the oil and
And even in
bicycle
the olden
clips.
days, like, there was one called Rush Hour or something, wasn't there? That
Yeah,
he did?
exactly.
And you always had. As you said, he always rips off a tailored white
does,
shirt.
yeah.
He's got some remnants of a 6-pack and a haircut.
Absolutely.
And he does his hey ka-cha.
Yeah, exactly.
This was literally just stabbing people round a corner badly. It was,
Try harder.
and I didn't feel empathetic towards anyone.
I agree.
Awful.
Yeah, and you know what's really sad? The character, the actor who plays his boss, he's an incredibly funny actor, very very funny actor. He's from Ant-Man.
Oh, is he? Okay.
Yes, very funny actor. Always plays funny roles. On this occasion, just played a crying dad,
Oh, it's embarrassing.
which is a little bit bad.
Yeah, and they
Really?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, there we go. Do not go and see this film,
Yes,
please. It's really high up the charts.
I know.
I mean,
People don't know.
there was a definite demographic in the cinema, wasn't
Wasn't
there?
it just,
Oh,
yeah.
oh, and there was also my favourite thing about. There was a favourite thing about last night. It's when the group of 4 men came in just as the credits were rolling at the beginning of the film, talking.
Yes.
And you turned into Jason Statham for like a minute. You were like,
Could you feel me fidgeting?
you were the angriest. You had the angriest face I've ever seen on anyone ever, and it was so bad that I was about to pipe up and say, "Excuse me, could you please keep it
My
down?
friend's really
We're in the
upset."
cinema," because I dreaded what you were going to do. Are you going to stab them around a corner?
I was literally. I was
Your
playing.
face was like nothing
I was playing
I've
with the
ever
buttons
seen
on
before.
my chair, and I went, okay, there's 6 of them. I thought, because I knew 2 came in afterwards. I thought it could all kick off, but I've got to stand up for the cinema. I thought I'm not happy about this chatting, and as soon as the film started, they stopped.
Well, they didn't.
Ish.
They didn't.
But halfway through, I heard some mumbling, and I thought the film's so bad, it deserves to be spoken through.
Yeah, it really did.
Yes. Anyway, scores on the doors. Oh no, hang on a minute.
Do you want,
Yes,
do
please.
scores. Yeah.
Scores.
I don't want my facts.
4.3. I'm giving it.
Oh, I'm going to give it 0.5.
Okay.
Wow.
And I'm only giving it 0.5 for James's face at the other men in the cinema. There's nothing in this film that deserves any.
You're more
merit.
scared of me than of Jason.
That gives it a 2.4.
Yeah.
There you go.
We've overscored it.
Poor old working man.
But you knew as soon as you saw him
I know.
buttoning up his jacket
I know.
how awful
No,
this
it
was going to be.
I tell you what, it was the opening credits when they continuously reminding you that it was American and English. Continuously.
Oh, yeah,
and it
yeah.
The flags were being ripped apart
And
continuously.
worse than that, when they were trying to do the James Bond montage,
know.
and they were blending military apparel
Yeah.
and building site machinery.
I know. Yeah,
It was
exactly.
the hand grenade, which was the cement mixer lorry bit. I was just like, this is horrific.
This is going to be bad.
This is going to be.
And you were right. And you were right. Nikki, facts or goofs or anything else that just to change our mind or distract us slightly.
Okay, so this is the second film written by Sylvester Stallone in which Jason Statham is a main character.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what the first was? It was a 2013 film.
Oh, no.
It's called Homefront. I've not heard of it.
No, haven't seen it.
Sylvester Stallone originally intended to produce a TV series based on the Chuck Dixon novels that this film
Oh, it's from a book.
Yeah.
Wow.
a graphic novel. Surely.
And Jason
Pamphlet.
Statham and Jason Fleming have both appeared in 3 films together.
Sorry, what was the question again?
Jason Statham
Yeah.
and Jason Fleming have both appeared in 3 films together, one of which you've already mentioned this evening.
Snatch.
You haven't mentioned Snatch, but they were in Snatch
And
together.
Lock, Stock.
In 1998, Lock, Stock, Snatch in 2000, and Transporter in 2005.
There you go.
And the man I call Mr. Harlan Coben is in it. Emmett J. Scallon, who plays Viper, he's in all the Netflix. He's the Irish guy in all the Netflix. Harlan Coben, you know the books that they've made into films like Fool Me Once and stuff.
Oh, really? No,
Yeah,
I haven't seen any of those.
He seems to be in all of them.
Okay.
Marlo Merla Cup.
He's not in Marlowe Murder. I haven't finished watching that. No spoilers, please.
Somebody gets murdered in it.
Yeah.
In Marlow.
And there's a club.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've never seen
James Mark Rone did
Marlowe
it.
looking so clean and tidy and empty.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Oh.
We get the best village
There we
award
go.
all the time, don't we?
Yeah.
Not in our village. Okay, so that,
Yes.
thank you very much. So that's it. So that's our review of Woman in the Yard and also A Working Man.
A working man.
Working Man. This is the time. So are we going to do Nikki's sequel
Yeah, we
now,
are.
or are we going to do homework?
Yeah, we are.
We're going to do it the way we do it every week.
It's up to you.
However, before we do the sequel, we need to discuss a couple of things.
Oh, really?
First off, we need to thank all the people who came along to the Bookhouse Cinema on Friday.
What's
Thank
that,
you.
Nikki?
It was this film that we played, so we have our own cinema the last
We've
Friday
got our
of
own
every
cinema?
month. And we played One Life, and there was quite a few people there, so thank you everyone who came. Hopefully we can see you at the next few.
We raised
Definitely.
a load of money.
It was such a lovely. I have to say, so much better than I thought it was going to be.
Well, yeah, it could have been one of those things where we just watched a movie, the three of us.
Exactly.
But actually, it turned out
Should we stop it now?
so much better
Put the
than that.
words
It was
up.
really good, and you know, and actually talking about the actual, rather than just our enjoyment of the evening, the actual infrastructure that the Bourne End Library have put together. The screen is epic. The
It is.
projector is epic. The sound quality is amazing.
It is, isn't
The
it?
seats are super comfy. The
VR
concession stand
Yeah.
is epic.
It is.
It's
Well,
all
they
good.
And the
had a great
presenters,
server
and the
as well.
presenters are okay as well.
Yeah, producer's great though.
Yeah,
We
producer's the
have
best.
unfortunately had a complaint in.
Have we?
We have.
Tell us all about the
From
complaint.
Mr. Leo Miles.
Oh.
And he said
Hi, Leo.
about last week's podcast. He said the podcast is too short this week, guys.
Ah.
So I replied and said, we will make it up to you next time. I'll get James to sing or something. And he said, yes, please.
Well, I've invited
So-
Leo Miles on to actually participate in the podcast, so maybe maybe he should actually do that and see how difficult it is.
But he is expecting James to sing or dance. tonight.
Why do birds
He sings every
suddenly
fucking week.
appear every time you are near?
So that's all someone needs to do now, yeah? Is just to write in and say that I want James to do this. Why, you a puppet?
It's like OnlyFans.
Okay, so
You stroked my nose with those fingers.
They're quite damp as well.
They're really,
Yeah, I
really
know.
claggy.
okay,
She
so
knows it's claggy.
should we get on with my sequel?
Okay.
So this time last
Fuck you,
year,
Leo Miles.
you were both discussing how good James's chin follicles were looking.
Yeah.
So weirdly, I was looking at his today, and he's gone for an extra cut on the cheek area.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Chiseled.
I was telling you off for tapping your pens and said no tapping today, please.
Did you spell that right? Yeah, you did.
I don't know. I'm dyslexic, so I spelled it the way I want to spell it. And Peter said he was in a really good mood and he wasn't going to lose his shit about anything.
Wow. How long did that last?
The question is, did he?
Of course he did.
I think he probably did.
Absolutely. If he came to me and said that to me is like a red rag to a bull, and I'm just one of their pick at the scab, wait for it to explode.
I think people should listen back to the episode to see if you did lose your shit about anything or not.
And what week was that?
That was actually Godzilla and Kong week.
And I lost my shit.
All of that discussion was before we'd even done the top 10. It was about 1 minute and 30 in.
Oh my god.
So this time last year,
I'd raised that from my brain, that film.
We were talking about Godzilla, Kong, The New Empire.
Mm-hmm.
You gave it a 4.1. At the time of recording...
Collectively a 4.1.
Yes. At the time of recording, it was a 6.7 on IMDb. It's now available on Apple, Sky, Now TV, Amazon, and Google.
Oh, I must go home and watch that tonight.
Also, you were talking about Uri Geller this time last year.
Were we?
You were.
Boom spender.
Boom spender.
Yeah.
You know, we've been had one of them for a while.
It's because James had reviewed Late Night with the Devil, and you gave it an 8.9 and said you would see it again, boys.
Fucking boom spender.
We've killed Peter. Finally, it's taken us 75 weeks.
Boom spender.
Welcome to my world.
Oh my god, and actually it was like a spoon origin.
Literally. So James said he would
If I was spooning you at the same time, that would have been brilliant.
James said he would go and see it again, Late Night with the Devil.
Which I did.
And
Oh, you did?
Peter said he would join.
Yes, which you probably did.
I watched it again at home. I didn't join you again.
Totally. I still love that film.
Yeah,
It's short and neat. It does exactly what it says.
But
In and out.
it's an epically. This is it's A24, no? And it's a crackingly slow burn for like 35 minutes, and you're kind of thinking, how is this a film?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you're like, oh,
yeah,
that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, really cracking movie.
It's currently available on Prime, Google, Sky, Curzon, and Apple. Godzilla, The New Empire was at number 2 in the top 10.
Of course it was.
Do you know what was at number 1?
Poor Things.
No, Godzilla, the proper one from
Godzilla?
Godzilla.
No, it was actually Mr. Jack Black.
Was it?
It was Kung Fu Panda.
Oh, yeah, that was number 1
Who-
for bloody ages.
Who, in 2 days' time, no one
He's
day,
going to be doing Minecraft.
will be doing the Minecraft movie. And
Yes.
there is a film coming out that I want to mention. It's called The Luckiest Man in America. So it says, pray for big bucks and no whammies as Paul Walter Hauser travels back to 1984
Yes.
to recreate an episode of the game show Press Your Luck that went off the rails and into the history books as one of the most scandalous moments on television. Hauser plays Michael Larson, a contestant who hid an ace in his sleeve and gamed the show for a 6-figure payday, also which earned it a tiny bit more than 15 minutes of fame. The true life tale might be another win for IFC Films, who savagely, I can't say it, marketed Late Night with the Devil.
Interesting.
So they're similar. So I don't know if that's worth. That is out tomorrow on Friday, the 4th of April.
Sounds very similar to that. Remember the scandal at Who Wants to Be a Millionaire with some of his coffee?
Yeah.
Sounds about that. There you go. So
There's a movie about that as well.
is there Slumdog Millionaire?
That's not yet.
So, Nikki,
Yes.
have you finished with your sequel?
All right, that sounds so cute. I don't know, you were laughing halfway through. I've probably forgotten something. No, we're all finished.
Oh, we're all finished.
With our boon spending.
Thank you very much for Nikki's sequel, one of my favourite parts of the podcast now. Now, to finish the podcast off, Peter's going to tell us all about his homework that he watched at home, watching homework.
While bending spoons.
Yes. Petey McPete.
Spending.
What film did I ask you to watch? Give us the certificate, the name of the movie, and what genre it is.
So you got me to watch a film called Creep.
Yes.
I'd never heard about it, but there's several of them.
There is.
There's 3, I think.
There is.
Is there not? This original one was made in 2014. It's a 15 certificate. It runs for a whopping 1 hour and 17 minutes.
It's got look, it's barrowed fro.
I know.
Yeah,
A furrowed brow?
that's right.
Are you doing
just
on
spiralling
purpose?
now.
He's not. He's once he goes, he goes.
Okay, so we're looking at a cast made up of Patrick Bryce, who is also the director, the writer, and the main character in this film, and Mark Duplass.
It's all about him.
It's all about him. This is it. Okay, I'm going to come back to something later on. So this film is basically about a videographer who has been employed or has found an advert.
Vlogger.
Yeah, he's found an advert in a newspaper, and somebody has asked him to document a day of this person's life.
Yeah.
So he drives up into the mountains. I think we're in Canada, aren't we?
It feels very Canadian.
Yeah. And
Pine trees.
yeah, and he basically meets this guy Joseph,
Yeah.
and basically Joseph's a bit of a bellend, isn't
I mean, bear in mind it's 11 years old. As long as you don't give away the ending, I don't think it's going to be any spoilers for you to worry
he?
about.
No, I'm not worried about spoilers. I'm just trying to work out the best way to describe this film, because we all know a Joseph.
Do we?
We do all know a Joseph.
Are they all called Joseph?
No, they're not all called Joseph. Some of them are. Never mind.
Called someone called Crispin.
No, this guy's nothing like Crispin
No.
whatsoever. This guy is that bloke. He's the try-hard.
Yeah.
He's the one who thinks he's hysterically funny and basically just excuses himself because it's James. It's the bean spender.
Maybe it's just people whose names begin with a J.
Maybe
Yeah, maybe,
it is.
yeah.
So I can think
He,
of a few
he
others.
jumps out of cupboards and shouts "Boo!"
Yeah.
and then goes, "Ha ha ha! Did you see your face? You shit your pants a little bit."
Yeah.
He's one of them.
Yeah.
And I've got an instant dislike to Joseph.
I don't think he's there to be liked.
I don't know, because then he turns around and says, actually, I've got a brain tumour, I'm going to die, and I want to make a video for my unborn son. And then just like, oh, fuck, okay, so maybe we do have to offer this guy a little bit of sympathy and empathy. That doesn't last very long. No, because he's still a bellend. Yeah, anyway, so basically the construction of this video, and I mean, Joseph is desperate to make the experience as embarrassing and difficult for Aaron as he possibly can.
That's
so
right.
the first scene is he wants to replicate bath time with his son, his unborn son, suggesting that he's actually born and invisible, and playing with him in the bath, and playing silly bath games with this boy, naked.
It's a classic.
It's fucking weird, is what it is, and Aaron has to sit there and videograph it, and you point out last week that this film is better than Blair Witch Project, and it is the what's the terminology of that?
Found footage.
Found footage, yeah, exactly. And so basically, it is Aaron, the videographer, talking to camera, videoing Joseph, and then kind of in between the two, there's clips where you see kind of both of them on screen. There's clips where you see either of them on screen. There are kind of video posts and then replies to those posts and all this kind of like to and fro of video.
Yes.
The relationship, there obviously has to be some situation.
That's right.
With this relationship, and basically Aaron is he feels really uncomfortable and he's quite eager to get out of the place, and then basically his car keys go missing.
Do they?
And things start becoming a little bit more kind of sinister, and not hugely sinister.
No, it's a slow burner,
It's
isn't
a real
it?
slow burn the whole way through, and then we kind of get to the stage where the day is over and the two separate, but it's not quite over. There's a continuation, and the continuation still happens with videos, or in the latter case, kind of DVDs being sent, and then we kind of move towards the end section of the film, which is I think that's quite a nice, tidy
I think so.
view of the plot of this film.
100%.
I haven't missed anything, have I?
I don't think so, no. I mean, you haven't given any of the specific details away that we don't want to give away, but I think you've given the overall atmosphere.
Yeah, there is a moment when Joseph gifts Aaron a love heart with photographs of them in it, which kind of sets the tone of like maybe how freaky this thing's starting to get. There's a phone call between Aaron and a supposed partner of Joseph that would maybe suggest that you should get the fuck out of Dodge. But yeah, other than that's kind of where we are with this film, and you have to kind of see it if you wish to see it. Now you're wondering, do I like this film or do I not like this film? I'm not talking about scoring, but I'm talking about the actual my enjoyment of this film. This film felt to me like Patrick Bryce was wanking in a mirror. It was one of those films where he wrote it for himself to look good on screen, and he directed it for himself to look good on screen, and it really reminded me. I've got a mate who's in the film industry, and then when we were at secondary school, him and his brother used to make movies together. And it was a bit of a wank in the sock to see who could have the best screen time and the best lines and come up with the best soundtrack to go through it. And to me, this film just felt like a bit of a college art project that the two kind of dunces of the class were putting together to try and scrape a merit. Yeah, is the kind of way that I felt about this film. And I want to know how you felt about it, because you recommended this to me, and I was quite surprised of this as a recommendation, because I think this lacked a bit of James class.
Well, it's funny you say that, because it took me a long time to get around to watching this film. Bear in mind, it came out in 2014. I don't think I watched it until probably during COVID. I probably watched it. I've seen the second. I've seen the second version of this as well, which is, to me wasn't as good, but still was quite good. Haven't seen the third version of it yet. However, what I really enjoyed about this film was the level of commitment towards the character that he's portraying. Okay, that he's gone completely knee deep into. There's no fourth wall being broken. You get immersed into the creepy aspect of the main character. Played by the director and the writer and so on and so forth. And yes, you're right, it is completely self-indulgent, but I think that's part of the character, what drives the character completely. So to me, yet again, and I refer to this on a regular basis on many times, to me it felt quite play-like again. You had that sort of interaction between two characters, the immersions of the dark elements within the character's personality start to come out more and more as time goes on, but it's masqueraded with silliness and masqueraded with goofy lines. But underneath those goofy lines, there is definitely something really sinister going underneath it. And I think that's where the beauty of this film comes in, because you're laughing at the characters at a certain point, and then at a certain point you're laughing.
Like Mr. Peach Fuzz and that type of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I think that is the crux of whether you enjoy this film or not.
Yes.
Is whether you believe
you get it or not.
Whether you believe the characters or not. And that's it. And I think you clearly did, and I clearly didn't. Yeah. And I think that makes a massive difference to this film.
Because otherwise it's just somebody acting like an aegis in front of you.
Yeah, no.
I'm
talking about actually the vesting in the characters being portrayed. Yeah. You clearly bought into them as their characters, and I couldn't quite get hooked in, and I think that makes a massive difference as to whether you enjoy this film or not.
Yeah, I agree with you completely. I think it's one of these films where if you don't get immersed into character, it doesn't work. Simple as that.
Yeah, you need to believe in Joseph.
It misses the spot if you can't completely be drawn into their world, and particularly his world, and you're able to see past the silly structure of how he's portraying himself. I think that's what you need to do. So yeah, I think we both agree on the premises of the film.
We do. There is one slight issue I have with this film, which is I can't really discuss it because it's right at the very end of the film.
Oh, listen, it's 11 years old.
Okay, there's a suggestion of the frequency of this event happening, and it was done in like such real time, and like kind of like and like it's supposed to be like a really real story. If this was something which happened over and over and over again, to me that didn't strike a chord as being real, because it would be far more publicised and the police would be involved. And there'd be in the
I think it's because I was knee deep at that point. I just got taken away by that aspect of it. Yeah, you're right, because the you're right. The final scenes give the impression that this is not the first victim that this person's had.
Correct, and he basically refers to it as this time.
Yes.
This time, the guy, all he needed to do was X.
Yes.
And I was just like, but if he's done this a lot, then we'd know about this dude, wouldn't we? And maybe that's the perfect example of the fact that you'd vested and that didn't matter to you.
No.
And I hadn't vested. To me, it mattered. It made me feel like it
I agree.
was insincere.
I like it. I like that. Yeah, good. Nikki, do you have any facts for us?
So it's currently available to watch on Netflix, YouTube, Google, Apple, and Prime. It's won some awards, the Peter Unger Award of Best Film Ever. No, it didn't win, but it was nominated
For a chainsaw.
for a 2016
Chainsaw.
Chainsaw for Best Actor for Mark Duplass.
Of course.
Really?
He also won Best Actor for Fright Meter Awards.
Fright meter. Rather than not meat frighter. Might freeter.
The mighty frighter.
It's currently got 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. And let's have a look at some of the trivia. It was filmed in a week with only a 5-page outline. And the film is almost totally improvised. The film's Bibles was only bare bones, i.e. driving a car while videotaping a dialogue of the trip. The first trilogy of Creep films, Creep 2, was released October 2017, while the third installation of the franchise is in development. However, since this was written, I believe it has been released.
I think it has.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen it yet.
So there you go. It was like an art college project. There you go.
Carry on. What score have you giving it?
I'm giving it 5.5.
Okay.
Okay, it's 6.3 on IMDb.
There you go. Well, thank you very much for watching your homework, because I know you're really busy, so I do appreciate it.
No, it's absolutely fine. And I mean, my score in IMDb is not too far away. I think
It's not too far.
really
Too
was
much.
me.
So this week,
Yes.
your homework, I'm going to describe 2 scenarios for you, and you
Okay.
describe. Okay. So there's 2 different films. Okay.
Your eyebrows are looking excellent today.
Thank you so much, darling.
Your eye follicles.
So, first film is a gore fest in New York, okay, with 2 really high-profile actors. At one point, they're both not, they weren't both as high-profile as they are now, but it's a proper gore fest and lots of blood everywhere.
Okay.
It's in New York, okay, called Meat Train.
Okay.
Okay. The second one there's a multiple of actors. It's one of the consortium of actors that get together, young kid actors getting together, in a very similar way to any Ouija board movies, that sort of genre of movie. And this one is called, it's What's Inside.
Okay.
I was pleasantly surprised with this film, I have to say. It was a very quirky twist.
I think I remember the trailer for this, actually, and I think we
Yes.
didn't see it. What year did it come out?
What's Inside, I think it's only about 2 years old.
Yeah, I was going to say. I think we. I think we saw a trailer for it at the
Yes.
cinema, but didn't actually see
So
it.
What's Inside is going to be a lot more commercial. It's going to be a lot more. It's going to of that. You know where you're at with it. It's got that sort of genre, but there's a really interesting, quirky twist in it.
Okay.
However, Meat Train, it's just gore, but 2 really high-profile actors in it.
Okay.
Which do you want?
I want Meat Train.
Is it The Midnight Meat Train from 2008?
That's the one.
Okay. So that is available on Google Play, Amazon Prime, Apple TV, and from the Sky Store.
Tell Peter who's it starring.
Someone called Vinnie Jones, someone called Brooke Shields, and some man called Bradley Cooper.
Ah.
Bradley Cooper in like an 18 X-rated horror gore fest.
Let's do this shit.
You got it. I think you'd be pleasantly surprised.
Awesome.
No children in a room though, particularly at the end,
Okay.
because it gets a bit.
And just to confirm, it's meat as in eat, not
Yeah,
meat as in I'm going to
M-E-A-T.
come in. Yeah,
They're not having a meeting in a train.
they could be.
They could be.
You
they
haven't
might
seen
not
the
be.
film yet.
Exactly.
Thank you, James.
Absolute pleasure. Now, if you've seen either Midnight Meat Train, or if you've seen, did I get it right, Baron?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or if you've seen Creep, please let us know. Get in contact with us. Send us your review. And if you've seen any of the movies that we've been reviewing, let us know about that as well. Even better than that, if you've seen a movie that we haven't seen or reviewed, request us to watch it, and we'll watch it, won't we?
Not
We'll watch
necessarily.
it. We'll watch it. I will watch it.
We.
You do
Like the
whatever,
we
Leo.
again.
Leo.
We will
Leo
watch it.
says you
100%.
Yeah.
Definitely.
That's
Right.
whatever Leo says.
What are we watching next week?
I'm watching The Death of the Unicorn, which I'm very excited about.
Oh, you're very excited about it.
I am. I think it's one of these films that I think initially the first trailer I thought, oh, hello. However, my concern is that they're giving a lot away in the second and third and the fourth trailer so far is starting to give too much away, so I'll stop watching the trailers. I don't like it when they do that.
Well, maybe you'll be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe.
But you do always say that you get a really great gist of what's going to happen from the trailer.
I do.
Which is kind of what a trailer does, but anyway, if that makes you feel special.
It makes me feel ultra special.
Peter,
Hi.
how can people watch and hear us?
Oh, well, they can watch us on YouTube. They can contact us on Facebook.
They can.
They can stream our podcast from Apple Podcasts or whichever whatever podcast streaming platform they wish to choose, because we're on every single one of them.
We are.
Yeah.
And yeah, slide into our DMs.
Slide into our DMs.
That's the best way to do it.
That's right. So, that's it.
That's it.
Is that it?
Peter knows what
Peter,
to do.
over to you, Peter. Bookend us, baby. Popcorn Pundits, week
75.
To you 76, but it's actually 75.
75.
75.
75. Keep tuned in. Thanks for listening and watching. Love ya.
Bless you.
Bye.
Bye.